Over the past few years, we've seen Canada's Wonderland return to its original roots by adding back areas such as Grand World Expo and Frontier Canada to the map. There are 8 themed areas at Canada's Wonderland, those being Frontier Canada, Planet Snoopy, Kidsville, Medieval Fair, Grand World Exposition of 1890, Action Zone, International Street, and International Festival. Since 2017, Canada's Wonderland has added a multitude of different attractions into the Frontier Canada section of the park. As you guys probably know from keeping up with my channel, I've done a lot of construction updates on what Canada's Wonderland will be getting in 2025, and this 2025 investment doesn't seem to be in Frontier Canada, which is what I wanted to talk about today, because what is happening with Frontier Canada? Because right now it seems like Canada's Wonderland is shifting focus away from Frontier Canada and adding into other areas of the park. Frontier Canada is honestly one of the nicest areas of Canada's Wonderland. It's got really nice theming. They've done a lot of extensive work in that area over the past 6 years, and a lot of other areas in the park need some attention, which is what it seems like Canada's Wonderland is doing. The last addition to Frontier Canada was Tundra Twister this past year in 2023. How did it do? How did it perform? Tundra Twister did not get very long lines this year at the park, and part of that is due to the location. It's located right near the back of the park, where there's not a lot of foot traffic from guests, in front of the Splashworks building. Although it may be a flat ride, it's still a new attraction, and it's kind of shocking that it didn't attract the crowds that you would think to the area of the park. Now, on a 30-degree summer day when Splashworks is open, this ride definitely had a full queue. But what about the other days, like the fall days? Rides like Mindbuster, Wild Beast, The Bat, Dragonfire, now those are all coasters, but even Cyclone and Sledgehammer had decent queues in the fall time, but Tundra Twister was pretty much a walk-on on those days. It's in a tricky location for guests to locate the ride, all the way at the back of the park, so maybe this is why Canada's Wonderland is choosing not to invest into Frontier Canada for the time being, because this is the map of Frontier Canada. It's a really large section of the park. It stretches all the way from Mindbuster, all the way, and includes Lazy Bear Lodge, Vortex, all the way to Action Theater, and all the way back to Whitewater Canyon as well. The Whitewater Canyon section of Frontier Canada is a huge plot of land that was rumored to get some extensive theming in the next coming years, and Action Theater is also rumored to be replaced by either a new coaster or a flat ride. That area is in green. That is a huge area, and in my mind, I was always picturing a GCI wooden coaster similar to Mystic Timbers, maybe with a little bit more of a twister layout, to be located in this area. And we even saw concept art on Wonderland's survey for a GCI in this area. That concept art even included a huge re-theme of the Whitewater Canyon area, which would have added even more to the Frontier Canada section of the park in terms of theming. Now, why are we not getting this as our next coaster? I'm here to tell you why our next coaster is rumored to be an International Showplace, launch in the mountain, and go over to Xtreme Skyflyer's plot of land, rather than be in that back forest of Frontier Canada. Frontier Canada, like I said, has gotten a lot of attention, and the Action Zone and Grand World Expo sections of the park really need some attention, and I feel like by adding a coaster in this area, you're going to add so much to this area in terms of theming. Wonderland has been going all out with the theming, even when they're not adding into areas. You can see they updated some sections in Medfair, they updated some sections on International Street, and no new additions were added in those areas. By shifting focus towards the front of the park where Grand World Expo is located, you are making a better first impression on your guests. When guests walk into Canada's Wonderland, there are 4 ways where you can go. You can go straight down the 2 pathways on either side of International Street that go around the mountain, which is a really nice section of the park where they just added a new restaurant. Vortex has got a new color scheme. Thunder Run is there with all the Alpine theming, and Clockwork's got a new repaint. You could also go towards Leviathan, which is where most guests usually tend to go, with a beautiful castle theming of Medieval Fair and Arthur's Bay right in the center of the area. Or lastly, you could go left towards Grand World Expo and Action Zone, and you have rides like Xtreme, which is apparently no longer going to be there anymore. You have Flight Deck, Time Warp, and then you reach Cyclone, Sledgehammer, and Behemoth. So what I'm saying is that left side of the park is kind of the weak side when you enter the park. So if guests end up going down that pathway, they're not really getting a really good representation of what the park actually is until they go into the other areas of the park. If the new coaster, like I've made a concept of, goes over that entrance into Grand World Expo, you can totally bet there's going to be enhanced theming over there. And you're making such a better representation of that area. And I'm sure in the future that they'll add even more additions. Like maybe they'll chop down Time Warp and Flight Deck and put a new coaster there. And they also have Kingswood to work with as well. So you're investing more in an area that really needed some help, rather than Frontier Canada, which doesn't really need any help because that area of the park is really nice as it is. And from Wonderland transitioning from an amusement park to, let's say, a theme park, you're bringing that whole Grand World Expo area of the park back to life like it once used to be. Now, I'm not saying that Canada's Wonderland will never invest into Frontier Canada ever again, because maybe after the next couple years they'll start investing back into Frontier Canada because they have a lot of space to work with back there. Like I said, there's that green area that could enhance theming of Whitewater Canyon. You could put a GCI there, you could put even a couple flat rides in there and a whole other themed area. You could use this blue space over here to add another flat ride, and you can even use this red space over here to add another flat ride. They have so much potential space to work with back here. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this theory of mine in terms of how Wonderland is investing into the park and shifting focus from Frontier Canada to Grand World Expo. I think it's super interesting, and I'm really excited to see what this park has to offer in the next 5 to 10 years. And let me know what you guys think about this as well. I'd love to hear, and as you guys know, I love responding to you guys in the comments. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next video. So take it easy, guys. See ya.